all come to pray, going back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, where the rebels should stay, talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway, just let the sermon flow. We're on the back row.
Hey, no
Richie,
matter
we're
what
live.
they tell you.
Sing us in, brother.
Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us. What's up?
Hey.
It's a crossover episode.
Hamilton, right? Did I
Yes.
get it?
Yes.
Oh, man. Cool. Well, hey, Richie, I just want to welcome you to This Week in Mormons.
Well, the cultural hall's already been set. We've been going for 5 minutes, so welcome to the cultural hall.
Sorry I'm late, but
No, you're fine.
that's what we do
the
here.
Cultural hall's about. Come in a little bit late. No judgment.
I'm on the back row. That's where we belong, right?
Yeah. Scooch over. We got more people.
Man.
We're not. The new bishop's not opening the accordion doors. That's the way to salvation. Everyone has to sit nice and close. That's the new principles there.
Yep.
Get close. Yeah, we haven't visited our ministering families. Yeah, that doesn't matter, but we're not opening the accordion doors. That's the
And if you don't like it, you can leave, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not taking the sacrament out to the foyer either.
Yeah. I'm misguided in my leadership. Hey. Now, listen, if you're inspired to do it that way, sure.
Does your ward do that?
No. But you know what we do? We have
doo-doo.
and I also said do. We have the women that shut the doors now.
Okay, like the
that
young
open
women?
the doors because it used to be the Aaronic priesthood holders. And now
They've been granted such authority?
yes.
It was a
And
revelation.
they are on it. And they
Yeah.
are so much better at greeting us coming in the building.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's a thing we should have handed off a long time ago.
What's the next thing we should hand off?
Bishop. So that we can just open
That
the
escalated
accordion
quickly.
doors. No? Is that too egregious?
There would probably be they'd probably replace them with, nice curtains.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, why are we being like that? A dude could like nice curtains. Kurt.
Nah, we're all about the accordion doors.
I'll prove you how wrong you are. All right? Are you ready for this? Kirtland Temple, curtains. Guess who did it? Men. So shut up. That's the very beginning. Don't.
Joseph Smith. An affinity for curtains.
Yeah, the original, the OG curtains. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's actually pretty cool. They could divide up the room in the Kirtland Temple.
Yeah, they had pulleys, right?
Yeah, pulleys and canvases, and what a great use of space. We've always been very good at space. Very good at space.
Speaking of space and like partitions, do you remember those in the 80s and 90s, the gym partitions that would roll around?
Yes.
And they like fell on a few kids, and
yes, that's why we don't have them anymore. The church couldn't afford it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
You remember when we used to have buildings that weren't all the same?
Ooh, that'd be novel, huh?
Yeah. There's an Islamic center right around the corner from where I live.
Do you remember when we had an elders quorum room? Yeah, me neither, Richie.
Yeah,
me neither.
Yeah.
No, we don't get room. Just go in the gym, guys.
Hold on though. I want to tell you about this. The Taylorsville, I think it used to be the Tabernacle. It's now an Islamic center. It's right around the corner from where I live, right by the burger joint. That's a cool building.
Wow.
That is the way that LDS churches used to be. But
I essentially grew up in Taylorsville, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I probably would recognize it.
Yes, you would. Of course you would. There's what used to be Bell's Diner, and it's the Islamic Center. It's like 4 doors down. Get yourself some eggs at the guy who doesn't mow his lawn but has chickens. And then there's the one with the really cool horse property, and then it's the Islamic Center. And it used to be an LDS tabernacle. Maybe not a tabernacle. It might have just been the Taylorsville First Ward church house. But yeah,
okay.
You know what I'm talking about. No, you don't. You don't know
I'm
what
looking
I'm
at
talking
it right now, and it does not ring a bell. I'm just so
There
sheltered.
are no bells, so it doesn't. Kurt, I have to tell you something. I don't know how you're going to feel about this.
Oh boy, are you breaking up with me?
No.
Okay.
But but it's interesting, I guess, is what I'll preface this with. Kurt, if people that are listening to the Cultural Hall don't know, although we did an entire episode about Kurt's book, Is God Disappointed in Me?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can buy it on Amazon. It was a bestseller.
Oh, look at this! I happen to have a copy right
Oh
here.
my gosh!
Oh, yeah,
and you can go
Amazon.
to the Costco's in the Utah Valley.
No, Costco won't carry it anymore.
Are you the reading on Audible, or do you read it?
Oh yeah, every word. My friend.
Sounds miserable.
From this very mic.
So I most of the time when sequels to books are written, they are written by the original author.
Uh-huh.
And in the case of Is God Disappointed in Me, it is not actually written by the author, but proud to announce a sequel.
Oh, okay. This is news to me.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
I should have trademarked that title, dang it.
No, it's just a continuation. So you can do your own series because, again, it's normally done that you can be like, hey, Is God Disappointed in Me Part 2, The Electric Boogaloo, or whatever it would be, right? Whatever you wanted to do.
Okay.
I have decided to write my book, and I'm taking a step into a foray, and I am making it a continuation of your book.
Oh, well, I think I'm honored.
Yeah. I'm going to need you, if you're going to play along, to ask me, what is the title of your book?
Richie, what's the title of that book?
Pause. So this is the different kind of interviews you get. When Kurt does it, someone can lay out a question that is so obvious to be asked, and Kurt won't ask it. I'll ask those. That's why the Cultural Hall is superior. Yes, I'm full of myself, but I could not have made it more obvious that I wanted you to ask me, what is the title of your book, than how I just did that. So let's rewind and ask me.
Okay, all right. And how hot was it? Oh, no, that's Johnny Carson. Okay.
It's like that. Like that. So your book, Is God Disappointed in Me? I'm writing a continuation.
Oh, well, what's the title of your continuation book?
Yes, he is. Be better to other people. Why are we continuing to be so terrible to people? And it's not an issue of grace. It's an issue about being a better person.
And the subtitle, inserting judgment of the gospel of grace.
Yeah, and it's not as much gospel related. It's just like, hey, let's try and take a step about being a better person.
It's just a big fat soapbox.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that interview and reading that book and hearing your passion come through on the audio reading that you'll do. So,
man, that was.
Now, Richie, people want to know, you got a busy DJ weekend ahead of you, or what's it look like?
Well, as we record this, it is a Friday. I have a rare Friday night out.
Whoa.
Where I'm not doing an event. I'm not going to a wedding. I don't have a party. It's not a high school graduation, though we are in the middle of May-Cember, and it could be that. So I'm taking my wife out on a date.
Date night.
We have been married 6 years in October. Ask me how many Friday night date nights we've had.
Richie, how many Friday night date nights have you had?
0. This will be our first.
And she said, if you want to get to 7, buddy.
Yep, you better do it one time. Actually, no, completely my idea. Why? Because I'm not a very good husband. No surprise to most people, but I am doubling down on my efforts to try and be a better husband. And I thought, you know what? I could be more intentional. I made the reservation at the restaurant, and we are going. It's beautiful. It is a delicious place. It is.
What is it?
We're going up the canyon, up the Mill Creek Canyon to a place I do weddings quite a bit. We're going to the Log Haven.
Oh, okay. Nice place.
Yeah.
I've probably been there. I just don't remember it.
No, it's a great place. It's fun. But like I say, you have your young men's events on Tuesday night, and then your I Aspire to be Bishop event on Thursday nights, and then date night with your night on Friday night, and family home evening on Monday. You got it all scheduled. Hey. I don't have kids at home. So for me to have an intentional thing, we're going after it.
Nobody forced this DJ life on you, Richie.
Yeah, no, it chose me. It chose me.
It chose you. And you are saving the world one song at a time. One journey song at a time.
Yeah, but to answer your question, 2 events tomorrow and then 1 on Sunday.
Nice. Very good.
And I'm the worst. I'm supposed to teach Elders Quorum on Sunday. I misread my handwriting. I'm supposed to be at the wedding at 12:30. I thought it said 2:30, so I was going to be able to teach. So I already told him I could teach. Can't teach.
Can't teach.
So now I'm last
minute. Do you need me to step in?
I'm last minute. If you'd like,
I would mention. I'll just
at this point.
Yeah. I actually have my own Elders Quorum I have to figure out.
Oh,
I should probably do that.
Because you're the president? Is that what that
I am actually. Yeah. Thank you for noticing my authority. And I'd like to recognize that I'm presiding at this podcast right now. But this is a good follow-up because, I don't know, several episodes ago, you told the story about teaching and you put the chairs in different groups.
Sure.
And there was sort of a passive-aggressive revolt. Have you continued that practice?
So this will be the first time, if I were teaching, this will be the first time that I would have taught since then.
Okay.
And we call it chairgate in the Elders Quorum in our ward. Yeah. So
you going to do it again, though, the next time you teach?
No, but here's what I was going to do if I was teaching. Listen, next time I teach, maybe. But what I was going to put up on the board, this is not a joke. I was going to put up on the board and never reference it. What am I doing here if I never open my mouth and share my testimony?
to take that passive aggressiveness up another level. That's awesome. I love it.
I just
call them out.
It is a room full of people. And granted, I don't know everyone's story. I don't know where everyone is coming from. I don't know everyone's comfortability level, but there are 50 of us stinky men in a room and 8 of us who talk.
Yeah.
And I just look around the room and I go, why are you here?
Or you could write, why do you keep talking? For the other end of the spectrum.
Yes. Yeah. But it's far more aggressive and, all those things. If I just, it doesn't make sense to me. And I get it. Like, there have been Sundays where I go and I'm like, I don't feel like it today.
Yeah.
But if you don't feel like it every Sunday, what I mean, granted, like, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're checking the box. You're making sure that by definition, you're not less active or whatever we call it in the 21st century, right? You're not those things. But if you're not sharing your testimony, you're not being vulnerable, you're not offering a different point of view, you're not, taking it in and speaking vocally, what is it that you are doing there? Is it, and to that point, I think that there's some authenticity in, like, maybe there's a discussion within yourself where you go, yeah, why am I here? And then you don't come a week and then you go, oh, I felt super empty this week. I didn't feel close to God. Okay, that's why I'm there. But it does not manifest itself in the people that, hey, so we're in anyone? Answer is church. And we read the anyone?
Do you know why they're there? Do you know why they're there, Richie? Is
because of tradition.
No,
and it's an hour they get to be away from their wife.
Their wife has the minivan keys.
Could be.
And if he goes home, that's going to be a whole nother thing. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Bless you for thinking that most of the people in my elders quorum have kids. I'm talking, these are all 60 plus people. And I think it's just a way that they used to do church that is different than how a lot of people that are younger than 60 years old would do. I don't get to know these guys. I don't know where they come from. I don't even know what most of them did for a living. And I'll never know anything about them if they don't open their mouth and say, when I used to be a carpenter for some reason, or whatever the thing is, it's like, great. Okay, great. Thank you, person who's a carpenter. I did not know that you did that.
Nice.
I'm so angry about it. Why am I feeling so passionate
we're here for
today?
Yeah, you can go to therapy or start a podcast.
Sure.
And get that release,
I'm just going to record my therapy sessions and release it as a podcast.
I think people would tune in.
Yeah, with the preface of the names have not been changed, and Kurt Frankum, I'm actually talking about you. What's new with you? Anything good? What's good in the hood?
I just got back from FSM for the Strength of Men. Okay, it's really not called that, but
I was going to say bad naming.
I facilitate these men's retreats, and they're incredible. I don't think I've ever talked about them on air like this, but people should come.
They're the
like
Warrior Heart. Is that what this is?
Yeah, Warrior Heart. They're fantastic, transformational.
A lot of feelings. Is it the Elders Quorum I always wanted but could never get?
To be honest, the first time I went to one of these, it was like several hours into the first day, and I had this like moment of epiphany where I thought, they cracked the code on Elders Quorum. This is it. They did it. Give them an award. And so I've gone back ever since, and now I'm part of it. So.
And so you're part of the organization now.
Yeah, yes. I present and do the thing. So yeah, and so that was good. And I'm traveling out to, as you mentioned on a previous episode. Now I was mentioned in the church news, Richie. I going to the YSA Independence, Missouri YSA conference.
Is it time?
It is time. I'll let you know.
Do I need to pack? Am I not ready? Am I not ready?
Not ready.
My hand
cart. But Yeah, pack your wagons. We're going back.
Are you a keynote? Do you have a keynote that you perfect?
Yeah, definitely like a keynote. Well, I don't know if I'm like a keynote or if I'm in a breakout, but yeah, I definitely have a presentation.
Like
Yes,
Kurt
yes.
comes and he talks about having a beard that looks sketchy.
That's right.
What's your thing? What's your thing that you do?
Well, I mean, it's about yes, he is disappointed in you. Stop judging.
Is that what your book is about? Is God's disappointed?
Yeah, that's what I talk about. This is my book.
Took grace? Jeez, of all the things.
Grace, love, acceptance, all the things.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing. And then me and Verlin are hanging out later in June.
Yeah, the news wizard.
We're going to take all sorts of pictures of us standing far enough apart to Photoshop you into the picture.
I think you should.
Yeah.
You could put AI, the sticker. You could sticker me in some of those photos.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'll make different poses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kids are good. Things like that. Almost out of school, right? And you're a guy who works from home, so that's going to be a hectic.
Oh yeah. I'm already plotting. Where do I go in the mornings to actually get something done? Mm-hmm. Maybe if I wake up early enough, those things. But you just push through the summer, and so
most
it's going to be tricky.
Would say a coffee shop, but it's not really conducive to what you do.
No, I've got all sorts of coffee shop options. You got the almond milk steamer. You got the herbal
I don't mean
teas.
for the drinks. I just mean the spirit gets blocked.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I feel evil inside when I walk in there. But
I instantly judge everyone for an arbitrary beverage.
Drinking the devil's Kool-Aid over there. Stop it.
Hey, good morning. Drinking my Monster. Yeah. No, that's fine.
That's fine.
To be clear, I support the word of wisdom, followed it, never had coffee, and I can also go, okay, all right.
Now, I don't anticipate they would change the word of wisdom and allow coffee, but how soon after the announcement do you go get a cup of coffee?
The second.
Yeah? You're just diving in.
It is so much a part of my wife's life that I would, I don't know that I would continue to drink it. There's this stuff called Creo Brew, which is essentially like cacao beans, and it attempts to be coffee. You do this.
We all got our substitute.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I assume coffee the same way. I think that coffee is a vehicle for sugar and creamers.
Oh yeah.
So I would try it and I would go, babe, I love you. Okay. And then when she said, hey, try this, I would say, yeah, that does taste different, knowing full well I don't taste any sort of difference, but felt like I was being supportive to what she was passionate about. Yeah, but
Nice.
It to me, and I love when I catch people trying to explain it, is a thing that I'm just like, yeah, it's the tannins. There it is.
The tannins.
Yeah. And we'll get into it a little bit too, because I feel the same way about the word of wisdom as I do about tithing.
Oh boy. Is that our transition to news?
No, because in the cultural hall we say,
that's right.
In just a minute, we're going to we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do the second half of articles of news. Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. And then we go here in the second half. We're going to do a little bit of articles of news. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And then Peter Breinholt sings, you can't lose articles of news. Hey, and then we go, and now we're here. So let's.
Now, Richie, when Peter Breinholt did that, was that a one take?
So he did it a couple of times. I have both the takes. We only use one of them, but it was you have your guitar out. Could you do us a thing? And I think that he thought about that long about it, and then it was.
So you didn't tell him what words to say. You just said, "Do a thing that we can use."
That is the genius of Peter Breinholt. So
he is a genius. He is a genius.
I queued up tithing, but I would. I can't remember which order I told you we should do. Listen, you can take charge on this,
dude. I think there's the most ginormous story of the week has to deal with our beloved BYU Cougars. Would you
Okay.
agree with the
Yeah.
magnitude of such a story?
Yeah. And first, I don't feel like this is getting as much attention, maybe in the circles that I'm in, as I thought. The unfortunately nicknamed BY Jew it has been accused of
That's right.
sexual assault in a new civil lawsuit.
That's right. A woman identified as Jane Doe.
Not her real name, by the way.
Wouldn't that be unfortunate if your name was literally Jane Doe? She has filed a civil suit against BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff, alleging that he raped, strangled, and bit her at his home in November of 2023 after they met on social media. The lawsuit filed in Salt Lake City claims she reported the incident to Provo police, but was discouraged from pursuing charges with an officer allegedly telling her that sexual assault victims never receive justice. The woman sought medical attention days after the alleged assault, and a rape kit was administered. Retzlaff, its attorney, maintains the client's innocence, and as the lawsuit's filing, no criminal charges have been brought. BYU states it is aware of the lawsuit and is following Title IX protocols and declines further comment. So this is big because no matter what way this goes, we probably will not see him hike another ball at BYU. And
You think so?
I think so.
No matter which way this goes, you think he's done and out? Really?
Yeah, because as I've listened to various commentary, like civil suits, let's enter into Kurt and Richie talk legal stuff.
Okay.
People love this.
Yeah. Because we're lawyers trained,
That's
both
right.
of us.
That's why we went the podcast route in life.
Yes, yeah. We could have done all of our,
we could have done that.
speaking in the courtroom, but we decided this would be the way we would do it.
So I understand that civil cases generally take a lot longer to, go through the process.
Sure.
Right. So,
and what year in school is he?
I think he's.
I want to say that he just finished. No, I think he's. I think he just finished his. I'll look it up. Keep going.
COVID years messed up everything with
sure,
extensions and things like that. So, I should know that because I am a season ticket holder. But
sure, just ask you anytime you get the opportunity to talk about that.
That's right. So, this is going to be hanging
red
over
shirt senior year. So, okay, I'll get on board. I can support that. We'll never see him hike a ball again.
Yeah. So it's just going to take time. And now, they were set up for just an epic season with the success of last year, and now this, and all things considered, obviously, we maintain his innocence until proven guilty, as they say. But
Sure.
I don't know. It's like obviously he put himself in a really tough spot, right? That it's going to be, I don't know, maybe he can prove his innocence or prove that that's hard to prove his guilt. But man, you gotta be careful these things. But this happened before he was even, probably at the time there's nobody, that 90% of BYU fandom didn't even know who this guy was because, he was kind of he wasn't the starting quarterback and things like that. But anyways.
Well, it means a few things. Certainly, the deal that that he had engaged the name in licensing. He's literally losing millions of dollars,
right?
Regardless of the civil lawsuit, he also, it's an honor code, at least investigation. I want to make sure that we don't focus too much on him without mentioning her, whomever Jane Doe is. Didn't feel like she could, bring it to light. The police department says that there's absolutely no truth into the fact that a police officer would have said to her, "Oh, yep, don't do anything like that because they never get justice." Which that of course is what they would say because they could not say, "Yeah, no, we tell sexual assault victims that all the time."
Right.
So it's one of those sort of statements that you're like, "Yeah, of course." You'd hope, but stranger things have happened than someone being able to have experienced that and then sitting in the office of someone going, you might as well just keep it to yourself. It's not gonna do that. There's the odd stigma, and I feel I feel bad for this individual as well, that they didn't feel like they could from the get-go be able to say, "Hey, this is what happened," because there is a certain contingent, and I hate that we as people are like this, But there's a certain contingent of people that will be like, you're going to ruin his life. You're going to, just keep it to yourself. It's these things that keep him in the shadows that are terrible. But this will likely, at very least, tarnish his football career, and the way that people look at him, regardless, to your point, of if he finds that, or if it's found that there is no sort of, sexual abuse or sexual, any of that to it, right?
Yeah, and it's just tragic all around. I mean, whatever's true or false or whatever. I mean, the tragedy of someone being raped. I mean, that's terrible to consider. The tragedy of somebody's promising career going down the drain, and all involved there. But there's so many questions still with obviously she received medical attention. There's a rape kit, so there hopefully there's some answers or some clarity that will push the evidence one way or the other. But like I said, either way, it's just messy, and no matter what happens, this always hangs over his head for good or for bad, So
yeah, I mean, there's some aspect to it. I think that we would maybe be saying something a little different if there was like a criminal investigation in it.
That's a big question mark.
Hey, his DNA was found on the rape kit, and here is the thing. And I think that people, I think that they, and gratefully so, wrestle with it less when it's like, listen, he did this, guys.
Right. Yeah.
There's
we got to
skin
reconcile
under fingernails, or there's whatever from the crime scene or whatever. Right, when it's a criminal thing. In lawyer speak, when I was reading this article, which, by the way, at least to my noticing, has not been picked up by the Deseret News. Have you seen it in the Deseret News anywhere?
I mean, I know it was on KSL.
Okay, I've only seen it in the Salt Lake Tribune.
Oh wait, no, I have the link right here.
It is in the Deseret News with the link that you've got. Okay. But I thought it was interesting. So Jake's attorney, Mark Bout, maybe that's how you say it, Boute, said in a statement Wednesday afternoon that his client is, quote, a nice young man who is factually innocent. And there's never been a greater, lawyer statement about something like that.
You got to say that.
I don't know what that means, right? Like, oh, yeah, no, sure, but he's factually innocent.
Yeah.
So,
tragic. We'll see what happens. This is really kind of still unfolding with some more details. And but man, and BYU just got a new athletic director. Hey, welcome to your new job, buddy. There you go.
Yep.
Figure that one out.
The article continues, though, that Jake's focus will be on football this year. Is it an entirely different? I mean, what does it say if he plays?
Right. Well, and I know the BYU, I think, has pivoted a little bit, and they haven't been public as far as what adjustments they've made with the honor code. Where back in the day, Brandon Davies and
that season with Jimmer. Come on, Brandon Davies.
Right. That back then it was, sexual intercourse happens and you're suspended for a year. With the honor code, it was much more public, and then they kind of pivoted, say, hey, we're not going to be public about how we're handling this, or the honor code that will be handled privately. And so I would guess, especially, that there hasn't been really any incident over the last several years with this public that led to extensive suspensions. Mm-hmm. And so I almost wonder, I mean, maybe this is something that's already been taken care of, or it's going to be, maybe it's a 3-game suspension, or maybe, I don't know how they handle it, but they're not going to tell us. So anyway, so it might be a lighter experience than what's happened in the past.
Yeah, good, interesting point. Did the team already know? Like, he had gone and said, "Hey guys, it's consensual, but this happened." Knowing that this happened in the fall of 23, that would have had some sort of effect on last season. So seemingly not as far as last season goes. It's an interesting thing to note.
Yeah. Yep. So,
okay.
Where are we going, Richie?
Well, I'm sure we're going to go lighter from here. Oh, let's talk about, I don't know. Where do you want to go? You pick.
Well, I think this is one that you didn't mention, but I think this is a big deal. Are you familiar?
It's a big deal. And also, before we talk about it at all, I want to make sure that you know nothing about which you speak, so that we can keep on brand for you.
Hey, you back off my people.
You heard me.
We're doing the best we can over here at TWIM.
You
Richie.
heard me. Well, listener, whatever. Where do you want to go? What story,
Have you
listener?
heard of the Outdoor Boys on YouTube?
Yes, I have. In fact, Alaska. Is that right?
Yeah, he's from Alaska, so it's this guy that created two YouTube channels several years ago, and basically he just goes out in the wild. He's kind of a Bear Grylls type of guy. Digs a hole in the snow. Builds a fire, cooks his dinner, and brings his kids along. And anyways, LDS guy, returned
Mhm.
missionary, BYU
Mhm.
graduate, and his name is Luke Nichols. He is the let's see the he announced that he is quitting the channel due to concerns about how his faith as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ is perceived. Uh, Nichols expressed discomfort with the attention and criticism he and his family have received regard. I don't know if this is true. I think AI is doing me bad here.
Yeah, you can say
Um,
doing you dirty. I think that it's what I read is that he is leaving because he's like, listen, I want to focus on my family.
yeah, and he's just getting too famous. I mean, 14 plus million subscribers. I mean, that's almost as many as the Culture Hall, Richie.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right in line. We're neck and neck. But take that, Outdoor Boys.
that's right.
Uh, it's interesting to note that the large majority of this, something I think within the last 2 years, maybe 18 months, he had only like 1,000,000, which please, that's still so great. But it was like hockey stick up to the right,
Yeah.
just a incredible influx on this, and said, "Hey, you know what? It's a lot. It's a lot to produce this content. Safety concerns. I know that he had said, because his family is a part of it, as well as he was finding himself being out in public and having to deal with people, which is the price that you
Yeah.
pay when you're a public figure. But it's like, hey, aren't you Luke Nichols from the Outdoor Boys? Yes, I'm just trying to buy some saltines. My wife is sick. Can't I get
Right.
some crackers and some ginger ale and we're going to get home?
Well, yeah. And if you ever, those of you that watch this is the most down to earth guy you're ever gonna meet. I mean, an all American dad who just likes to go fishing, and suddenly his channel blows up. Did it because it was fun and involved his kids, and now it's like it's a thing. You're an
Mhm.
institution, man. So,
I think
um,
it's a pretty big deal. I don't know the kind of money that he was making, but you've got to know that at 15 million followers, 14 million followers, you're making some pretty good
oh
money.
yeah, yeah, you are
And
wealthy. Yes,
that's able to kind of do it. But you look at it and you go, for the betterment of my family,
yeah,
like that's integrity that we don't have nearly enough of. That will be covered in my sequel book to Is God Disappointed in Me? It's part of it is being an integritous person. Like if this is harming your family or your children,
yeah,
stop
yeah,
doing it.
yeah. Especially after we both read
Cherry Frankie's.
Cherry
Yeah.
Frankie's book. Thank you. And she's pushed for legislation in Utah as far as protecting children of influencers. And it is this interesting thing of like, I know many influencers that I've seen online where it's like their kids are very much involved, and it's not like they signed a contract or agreed to a payment deal or branding or all that. And so it's just this weird, modern day um, thing that needs to be addressed. And so I'm glad that I encourage, the stuff that she's doing to hopefully protect some of these kids. But, and, the Outdoor Boys, I don't think he involves his kids quite as much as many other influencers, but definitely like good for him for taking a breath and saying, I'm going to step out of this and focus on my family. So,
Yeah. His son, one of his sons has his own channel, not quite 1,000,000 followers, and he's going to help him with his channel. So I
yeah,
appreciate that he's not like, it's the worst and head up to the mountain where I've got a cave that we've purchased and, we're all going analog. Like it's not anything like that. I appreciate that he can go, hey, this is how it has affected my family. Here are some principles that we guide our family by. And as for me and my wife's relationship and how I would like to lead my life, I'm going to go ahead and stop doing that. And I think
yeah,
that that is commendable. So many people would have to take it to that extra step and say, Kurt, and I can't believe that you, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, could think that you could stand in unholy places. And it's like, pal, listen, I'm not you. We're different. Allow me
yeah,
to make my own choices.
yep, yep.
Why am I
So we
so
wish him well.
aggressive today? Why am I so aggressive with
I
everything?
don't know, but
Am I mad?
maybe it's time that you step away, Richie. Maybe
Yeah.
you need a break from this fame.
Listen, it chose me.
You can't deny it.
I can't deny
DJing and podcasting.
Yeah,
chose you.
all the things. All
Lean
the
in.
huge money makers, they chose me. They
Just like
thought
your wife did too.
Yeah, they thought, "You know what? Listen, sure, you could invent something or just put something out that people could purchase, and you could make money while you slept or went on vacation, but instead, be in a service-based industry where if you would like to make any money, you have to be heavily engaged in something. Do that.
Right?
Do that
I
thing."
often tell my wife, like, can you believe it? Like, people just become accountants and they go to the office 9 to 5 and then they
Yes.
go home and live their life. But no,
Yes.
I've got to save the world. I've got to do content. I've got to create the thing. It's crazy.
It sounds like the worst, best thing ever.
I know, right?
Right?
They just got PTO and they like take a week off and they just go.
I mean, it would suck my soul, and it's not any sort of judgment about
Right.
people that do it,
Bless their lives.
because there are different people that do it, and I do appreciate that you said, "Bless their hearts." But I,
No, bless their souls, Richie.
yeah,
Because
bless
they do our taxes and we're not going to do our taxes. I'll tell you
Sure.
that.
I want you to know I basically do mine. I just take it to a guy so that if I get in trouble, he has to deal with it, not
Oh,
me.
nice. Good call. Tax
I
tips
take
with
my
Richie.
phone and I drop my little mobile app, and I take out my temple recommend on my mobile phone, and I
Ooh.
say, "Hey, let's go. I'm gonna go to the temple. I have an idea about this that you aren't gonna like, that the church won't promote, but that I'm telling you it will be a
Okay.
big deal.
Here
Tell
he
me
goes.
about the mobile recommends."
Well, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will soon
Heard of it?
allow members to obtain temple recommends through a mobile application. This digital option aims to streamline the process, making it more convenient for members to access and present their recommends for temple entry. So,
Yeah,
and you can use
Kroger said,
traditional
"Hey,
physical
this was
cards.
the fresh values card we did 25 years ago. Thanks for joining us, 21st century church." Doesn't it seem like it took a long time?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's about on schedule for the church, right?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Uh-huh.
No. We look at how quickly we adapted and adopted YouTube and all of the things like Come Follow Me, certainly not maybe the church in general, but like people around it. There are some things that just feel forever aged, and this is one that I'm grateful we're coming into the 21st century about. But it's like, yes, of course. Now I understand why. The security, I don't understand how I can't just screenshot my temple recommend and send it to you in a text message, and then you pull it up on your thing. Like, do they make us log in? Is there a picture that's associated, and that's
Yes.
how it works? So
Actually, you do
it's
have to
all of
have
the
your picture uploaded to LDS Tools to use it,
Okay.
so that they can confirm that way. And I think there's a lot of apps out there that once the barcode is showing, it doesn't let you screenshot, which I know
Sure.
it's not a perfect system, but
Sure.
I'll share with you right now we got the printout cards, right?
Yes.
That are just on printer paper, and
Sure.
they
And they
don't
put
look
you in
official at all.
a plastic sleeve that you're like,
Yeah,
"Ah, shoot, I broke it."
no,
What is there tape?
every state clerk's office has bought laminators,
Mhm.
so that they laminate it. But here's the thing, like, you always forget recommend. Well, you can just copy it
Yeah.
and put one in your car. You can put one in
Yes.
your temple bag. You can put, right. So anyways, this will be a little more secure that way. So
Yes.
yeah.
And the old tale of, "And they didn't let him in because he didn't have a recommend, but luckily the stake president of his home ward was walking by the temple grounds out front and was able to take him to the
I
side."
think they
You know it.
a
You
quick
know the
phone call
story.
would work, Richie. So
Yeah,
yeah.
not always.
Or the
"Oh,
guy that
yes.
comes in, I've just got a flip phone. I guess
Hello.
you can
I
still use the traditional physical card. So
I
for
am the
those,
stake president of Kurt Frankham." It's all AI generated. "Why, yes, he is worthy." So
yeah.
here is what I think, and the
Okay.
church will never do this.
Okay.
Ever. Ever.
Mark his words, folks.
But they should.
Okay.
And I know your heart.
Mark
I
of the
know what
beast
you're
on the
going to
forehead.
say. You're gonna
Uh-huh.
say, "This is a terrible idea," because you have to save face, because that's who you are, and if you're ever gonna be a bishop or stake president, you can't agree with me
Yeah.
as far as this
You
goes.
can't, that's right.
But
That's right.
but I'm telling you, if we had, similar to how I've talked about recently on the Cultural Hall, these hiking, patches that you can get, like, if you could, with your app, if
Hmm.
you scan your thing and there's a map, and then, like,
Oh, yes, yes,
your
yes.
blue dot turns into a red dot if you've done a temple something in that temple, and get badges along the way.
I love it.
Like you could do all of Zion, right? You get a Zion patch if you do all the temples in Utah. Take that everywhere else in the mission field, or whatever the thing would be, right? You do all the top 10 originals. I'm telling you, $1 million idea. It promotes church attendance. Just like going to the gym, hey, you're on a 100-day streak of whatever the thing is. Could be whatever, however, whatever. We're saving souls, but we're making a game, not a game like a trivial game, like it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying, but making it something that nowadays people are looking for. 100% greater temple attendance.
I could get behind that.
No, you couldn't.
When I reach the red chairs, Richie,
save face.
I will raise my hand in a meeting and I will say, I have an idea that I stole.
I would like to represent this stolen idea from the velvet chairs.
That's right. But
what's your middle name? I know you sent me this. What's your middle name?
My middle name is Harold.
Harold.
Remember we went over
Harold
this.
Frankum? Now,
that's right.
Kurt H. Frankum is what it would be.
You think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because K. Harold doesn't sound right. K. Harold gets caught in the back of the throat. K. Harold.
Well, I mean, does D. Todd sound right?
Yes.
No. Doesn't.
What's his first name? Do you know? What is the D in D, Todd?
We're both Googling.
What is the D?
He's an American religious leader. D. Maybe it's just D.
Maybe it's not just D. David. So David T. Christofferson doesn't run off the tongue as well as D. Todd.
But David A. Bednar, that doesn't work, but we're so used to it.
Yes, but I guarantee you that D. Albert Bednar or whatever it is doesn't sound as good. They think it out like a girl dating a boy in 8th grade. They have their trapper keeper and they have written it out. It's D. Todd Christofferson.
Except if you're Elder Karen or Elder Suarez, you're just like, no, I'll have none of it. Just call me. Just call me.
They're not doing it anymore. Yeah. That's my speculation. Because isn't Elder Suarez the last apostle before Elder Karen?
Yeah, but they would stop doing it in the 70 as well, but they keep doing it in the 70.
It's different. 70 is not an apostle.
Yeah.
Is it Curtis? No. The answer is no. I'll answer my own question. This actually brings me to an email that I meant to address in the opening exercises of this whole thing. Let me share this real quick. This was from Janine, because on our last episode, we talked about the medical school that we're all pretending isn't going to be the Russell M. Nelson Medical School of Medicine at BYU.
What if Elder Renlund steps in? He's like, actually, we're calling it that. Elder Renlund.
No, of course not. No offense, Elder Renlund. That's not what it's going to be. But Janine says, I enjoy your show, especially the articles of news. It's so much better than This Week in Mormons. I'm glad that you exist. Sorry.
I protest. Objection, Your Honor.
Some of that was untrue. So listening to the show today where you're talking with Verlin about the new medical building, you were wondering when BYU will announce the name after President Nelson. My understanding is that BYU has stopped naming buildings after people. This began about 2009. I think this is because opinions can change with respect to people even after they die. And new information may come to light with respect to a person. For example, there have been requests and protests about renaming the BYU administration building named after Abraham O. Smoot, and people have become aware that he was a slaveholder. When a new residence hall was built in 2009 in Helaman Halls, they simply named it J Hall, the 9th building in Helaman Halls and the 9th letter in the alphabet. The new broadcast building, 2011, the life sciences building, engineering building, and music building all don't have names on them, so I think it is unlikely that the new medical building will be named after President Nelson or anyone else, but who knows for sure, says Janine, contact at theculturalhall.com. So,
I know what they're not going to call it, and that is the Jake Retzlaff building.
Boo!
No, is that too soon? Sorry, come on.
Boo!
He's innocent until proven guilty, but
they'll call it BYU School of Medicine.
No.
It could be still the President Nelson School of Medicine, but we don't name the buildings. And that's how I think that they'll, because isn't it like the law school is the J. Reuben Clark School of Law, BYU.
You're right.
I'm a lawyer. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's talk about this. There's essays.
New essays
I'm not
dropped.
using a slang term. I'm saying essays, ESSAYS, essays from the church about a few interesting topics: church financial administration, temples of the church, and religion and violence. This is in a long series of essays produced by the church, things like race and the priesthood and Mother in Heaven. These are in that lot of things. Should you choose to go, which one first, Curtis?
Let's see. The first one is church finances.
Oh, we're going to go there first. Okay.
I mean, isn't that kind of the most interesting one? They do have religion and violence, which, I mean, yeah.
I thought the religion and violence one was actually more fascinating than the church
why is
financial
that,
administration.
Richie? Why
Well,
is
we'll
that?
get into it because you picked church financial administration first.
Yeah, to me, I just feel like there was nothing like shocking in there or like revelatory. I mean, I don't want to say revelatory, but it's more like, hey, we're going on the record. Here's a statement about church finances. Yes, we make money. And I kind of chuckled when they say there's a part in there that says something like a lot of people are under the impression that nonprofits don't make profit.
Right.
It's like, I run a nonprofit and we make profit because I mean, I got to feed my children. So,
yeah. And by that, you mean barely, but I understand.
yeah.
I've seen them
Again,
every time
not a lawyer.
they ask me if I have candy or any sort of food that I can share with them. Please.
Yeah.
It's been a little slow for leading saints, but make your pledges, everyone.
You should.
It helps
Absolutely.
keep the lights on. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, just going on the record of yes, general authorities are paid.
Which I think
we build temples, a lot of temples, and that's okay because they're sacred.
Slow down, Curtis. Slow down.
Okay.
I think a lot of people aren't even still aware that apostles get paid. I think that it is an interesting thing. So I'm going to play other side on this. These.
That's just called the devil's advocate. So play the devil. Go ahead.
No.
It's okay.
Okay. I'll play the devil. Call me Scratch. That's my favorite of the pseudonyms for the devil.
That's right.
Scratch. It mentions in this particular essay that the apostles of the church make a modest allowance. Mm-hmm. Is the terminology that the term works. Oh, okay. He's going to take issue with it. So, as best record, and this is 10 years ago, we know that apostles were paid $150,000 a year. The median income for the United States, $70,000 household income. Modest seems a little downplay-ish.
Should they have said comfortable? What word would have you used?
Well, I would have preferred no adjective.
Okay. They make an income.
Right. Yeah. They are compensated for their time.
And nobody owns a yacht.
Well, I mean, there are apostles that have lots of money.
Yes.
Because of their efforts before they became apostles, their efforts in business and otherwise, that they are not, they're not hurting at all. And I'm not coming after that. I think that everyone needs money. You have to provide for your family and no one, right? All of these things. But we as a church, so heavy-handed, preach that we are a lay ministry, a lay clergy, that no one gets paid, whether it be, the missionary discussions when they used to exist and those things. I just think that to me, I think that if there was a particular criticism about the wording in this, I think a modest, that seems insulting to someone who makes less than $150,000 a year. And I don't know why we can't just say, listen, this is an electronic thing that we can update every year. Apostles are paid $150,000 a year.
Yeah,
or like it can be made available in the, we find that the church is factual in all of its accounting. To find more, go to www.lds.org/ no one will go to this website because very few people actually care about this, but we are being transparent so you can find it.com.
Right.
And be able to see that. I suppose I understand why we sort of gatekeep that, because the other part of the article is like tithing. Doesn't the church have enough money? Shouldn't, why do we have to keep paying? And to that, just like the word of wisdom, like, I'm like, listen, if you believe in God, if you believe in the God thing, then there's tithing. And that's a tenth. That's the literal translation of tithing. And it goes to the betterment. So whether you have $1 trillion, $1 If you adhere to the Christian principle of tithing, it is a tenth.
Right.
End of story. I don't need it. They don't know where it goes. It's irrelevant. It is the
Right.
10% that you are committed to doing.
Right. Yeah. And Brigham Young had a great quote. Something like, we don't pay tithing because the Lord needs it. We pay it because we need it. There's that a sanctification in that process, So, and it's not, synonymous with like paying tithing, or I'm sorry, paying taxes because we are a government by the people for the people. And so, yeah, it's still our money. But when we give it to the church, not our money, not our business, in my opinion.
It also is interesting. Some of the questions that are like headers for these different paragraphs that are within this particular financial administration essay. Why does the church own media and insurance companies? Nonprofit, to your point, that doesn't mean they don't make a profit.
And that's on the for-profit side of their business. DMC. Right?
Why does the Lord still ask members to pay tithing? And you can kind of read more about Ensign Peak Advisors and all of these. The property reserve, the farmland reserve, the different names that we have for the different parts of this. I think that that's great. To your point, when we were chatting, knowing that we would talk about this earlier this week, you said, but it is more disclosure, right? And I said, yeah, I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it.
I'm just thinking of a scenario where maybe somebody is really wrestling with the church and finances and how the church uses finances and tithing and all that before there wasn't really much to go off of. Like if somebody walked into a bishop's office and said, I'm really struggling, can you help me understand this? Well, now we kind of have a place to go to say, let's talk about these things, not because you're going to agree with everything, but
sure,
here's a place to have a discussion.
Yeah, and so I appreciate that resource. I think that it is more transparency. I don't know. Imagine the one scenario that I wanted to bring up is we get a role play here, Kurt. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Yes, Elder.
Imagine that we're married. Hold on, everybody. We're fine, but I just want
I did not agree to this.
Just for the sake of this, I want you to ask me, like, how much we're having, you and me, you are my spouse, we're having a financial conversation, and I want you to ask me how much money our household makes. And I just put on your big boy interview pants and try and follow the natural questions that would come from this. So this plays out.
All right.
I don't know why I'm being
this.
so condescending. I'm sorry. I had a lot of caffeine before we started. All right. So yeah, please.
So Richie, I'm curious, dear. How much money does our household make?
Oh, we make enough.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be able to. I should have put you as the other side of this. Well, I'd like to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't.
Yeah.
Well, how much does this cost? Some. Like, that's the thing. And there are a lot of organizations in the United States that take great pride in saying, hey, when you donate to the Utah Food Bank, the Red Cross, 17% of your money goes for overhead costs, and the 83% goes towards this. We don't even get a feel of that necessarily. And I understand why some people would say, it doesn't matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. If you believe in the principle of tithing, you would still pay it. But I do wish, because I don't think in any other instance, like, hey, Kurt, give me $100. What do you need $100 for? Just give it to me. What are you going to do with it? I'll take care of it. What do you mean you'll take care of it? What, you don't trust me? No, I trust you, but I'd like to know what it is that you're doing with it. Well, just give it to me and you can trust me. Okay, wait, what? Like, I don't know another scenario in which we would engage in doing that.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's often framed like that. I mean, there are blessings and faith traditions that become available because you are showing commitment and stepping into that relationship,
sure,
both spiritually and financially with the church,
sure.
right? So, yeah.
So I'll take it to that level. Hey, Kurt, give me $100 and you can come to the party inside my house on Sunday. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the $100 for? Just give it to me and then you can come in. It's a thing.
So let me ask you this. Why don't you do that with Netflix?
Tell me what you mean.
Like, why don't you pay Netflix money?
Right.
What do they do with the money? You don't know.
Well, I would tell you a couple things. One, Netflix is a business, and I am purchasing a service from a business, which is different from a church.
Okay.
And two, I know that on the very least level that they have to provide content, whether created or otherwise. I also know that there's a CEO that I bet I could Google and find out what his compensation is for a year, and all of those employees. The difference is not everyone who works at Netflix is encouraged to donate their time and talents and not told about where the money is going.
Yeah, but I guess that's I feel like you're inserting like something more in the agreement. That was never the agreement, though, right? That when we stepped into that
Sure.
relationship,
I'm
right?
all I am pointing out, and hopefully in a respectful way, that no one thinks, oh geez, we gotta rat him out to his stake president, because I would have this conversation with my stake president. I
Yeah.
still do it. I am a card carrying member. I
Yes.
believe in it. I believe that it is a godly principle, etc. I don't see another scenario where we would go, hey, here, no strings. I just trust you. And it's why we have such, because that is a thing that we do where we just trust and we can't get the answers on the other side. It is why I feel like we are so likely for affinity fraud and so many of these
Mhm.
things where we're
Yeah.
taken advantage of because we're taught not to question.
Yeah. I follow you there, but I guess there's certain indicators that show that we can continue to trust them because, if they were, flying around in their own personal jets and driving Lamborghinis and
Sure.
it's sort of like, where's the apostle yacht? Then I'm like,
Sure.
okay, obviously it's going towards something positive, and they're,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah.
Agreed. Right.
So
If it was, Elder Uchtdorf out on the lake and something, right? We could
yeah,
very easily be able to
as
do
you've
that.
seen in other
Yeah.
traditions, yeah,
Well, and I'm not accusing anyone of that,
right,
but
right,
it is a thing to me that when I stop, I go, what if this A was in a scenario B? Would I ever do something like that? And I wouldn't. It's just an interesting that I take the leap.
yes, it is.
We've only got a couple more minutes. There's a gospel essay about temples. I thought this was interesting. There are other essays about or like study guides about temples, but this is pretty short. It's like, hey, this is where you go to get answers. It's the temple. There's a gospel essay.
There it is. They're
Right?
on the
Did you
record.
think there was anything?
To be honest, I kind of didn't make it all the way through this one because it just seems so elementary. From
Mhm.
my being a devout Latter Day Saint who's been to the temple several times. Sort of like, yeah, I know why we you know do do work for the dead, type of thing. So I'm glad it's out there, and as people search around, they can come to an official source to get answers to many of those questions. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It quotes President Nelson saying, every man and woman who participates in priesthood ordinances and who makes and keeps covenants with God has direct access to the power of God. Yeah. I think that's
yeah,
awesome. I think that kind of refocus or reframe of, hey, this is the temple. I think that it sort of goes hand in glove with one of the things that we're talking about with funds is that we're building all of these temples. And so it would make sense that if there was not one about temples that we would go, yeah, and about the temple thing that we talked
yeah.
about. Here's a little bit more about that. Um, the religious violence I thought was an interesting religion versus violence is
Yes,
technically the title of the essay. Um, as followers of Christ, we strive to be peacemakers. They aspire to the Savior's high standard to love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Of course, from Matthew 5. I thought that this was an interesting essay. In fact, by far the most interesting one.
tell me more, Richie.
Well, so like one of the headings is, are religious people more likely to be violent? First sentence out of the gate there. Most often, religious beliefs lead people to behave unselfishly and promote peaceful solutions to the world's problems. However, throughout history, religious ideas and loyalties taken to extremes have motivated or been used to justify violence. That's a huge statement. It's not saying that that's what, the LDS Church does or anything like that, but certainly we can look at our own examples of, whether it's keyboard warrior violence where I must correct you with the thing that you are saying incorrectly, or like a literal violence. We see those bad actors within the church and without the church as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And then they mention the Mount Meadows massacre at one
right.
point, just
I
sort of
thought that was
saying, "Hey, this
fascinating.
happened.
Yep.
Let's talk about it." This is what we've said. This is how we moved on. This is how we condemn it. So
Yeah, it talks about the Mormon Missouri War, which I know that there are some people hearing that go, huh? What? And I just think I love it, and I know that it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be all encompassing, and that's the
Yeah.
thing where probably more than anything, and now that I've sort of calmed down and the caffeine is wore off a little bit. To your
Good to have you
point,
back, Richie.
it furthers discussion about these very important topics. But some of it that I want is I just want it to be more because I think that there are things that people go, I have no idea about that. And the gospel is true as the gospel is true, right?
Yeah.
Whether there was a Mormon Missouri war or not, if the gospel is true, and there was a Mormon Missouri war, or the church pays tithing and bought a mall, or it didn't buy a mall, the gospel is still true. I, you